Coming up on this week's episode of Bobcat Breakdown, the men's soccer team's out-of-conference schedule did not go well, but had a chance to bounce back in its first MAC game against St. Peter's. We'll let you know how they fared and debate their slow start.
Also coming up tonight on Bobcat Breakdown, Gabbi Riggi will join us to preview and discuss the upcoming women's ice hockey season.
And Dave Clark's women's soccer team traveled to Jersey City to take on St. Peter's for its second conference match. Did the Bobcats start MAC play on the right note? Find out next on Bobcat Breakdown.
Welcome to the second episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Justin Cloutier.
And I'm Dylan Fearon. The Quinnipiac men's soccer team started off MAC play like they did their out-of-conference schedule, with a loss. On Saturday, the Bobcats fell to St. Peter's 2-0 in Hamden. Justin, this puts the Bobcats at 0-6-2 on the year and 0-3 at home. Clearly not the start Eric DaCosta wanted and was looking for. Can they turn things around going into the next two MAC games against Niagara and Marist?
Well, they absolutely can turn it around, especially in their weak MAC conference. I don't think that it's that great. Obviously, you're talking about an 0-6-2 record, so they have no confidence going into their conference play. But I like some of the things I've been seeing lately. I think Rashawn Daly's been playing more up top. DaCosta really should have put him there earlier in the season. And
Agreed.
he's been stepping up, he's been taking shots. They're just not a lucky team. You know, they don't get a lot of bounces. Nothing really goes their way. Anytime Tristan Henry gets out of his net, like to come off his line or anything, he's always getting chipped every time. You remember the Yale game?
Absolutely.
That chip was like from 5 yards outside the 18. The ball was probably 20 yards up in the air. Like it was an insane chip. Like that's just an unlucky bounce every time.
My thing is, where is the scoring coming from? Because the last 2 years, we've had one guy on the team that's going to do most of the scoring and had double-digit goals for the season. 2 years ago, Simon Hind had 10-plus goals that year. Then last year was Michelle Baker. Now this year, I'm looking at this team. Who's producing and who's putting the ball in the net? Is it going to be Justin Cody, who looked good the other day? And he's strong, he's physical, he's a brick wall. He's going to give everything he's got for 90-plus minutes, whatever it takes. But who's putting the ball in the net? Because we haven't seen Cody do it that often. James Doig's injured. James Greco's not playing that well. Who's putting the ball in the net for this team? Because you can't win unless you score.
No, you're absolutely right. You're completely right. That's where I say a player like Rashawn Daly steps up and has to start taking the shots, and he has been in that last game anyways against St. Petersburg. But see, Justin Cody, I feel like he doesn't have like all the physical traits. He's fast, he's big, just like you were saying, but I don't think he has the necessary skill or go with skill.
Talent, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he possesses that, and I don't think that's a 10-plus goal scorer. Now, Rashawn, he has the potential to be, but it's a freshman that you're putting in such a big role.
10th in the MAC in goals, 10th in the MAC in shots. That's what I look towards and say, that's got to change, because if that doesn't change, you're not going to win any of these games. Now, the huge thing, Justin, is the next two games, because you're going to Niagara, who is predicted to be 11th in the preseason poll for men's soccer, and then you're going to play Marist at home, who is 8th. So you're talking about two bottom-of-the-league teams. You've got to get 6 points out of those two games, because then you're going to Monmouth. And believe me, you have no confidence now. If you can't get 6 points in the next two games and you're going to Monmouth, you're not going to come away with anything at all. No confidence whatsoever. I'm looking at Justin Cody. You got to step up and you got to put the ball in the net. And I'm looking at James Greco. Come on, man. Come on.
There you go. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. People got to start stepping up and scoring. The defense looks good. They haven't been getting the luck this whole time.
One more thing, Justin, one more thing. All the teams make the MAC tournament because they're going to Disney this year. All the teams are making it, not just 4, not just 6, whatever. They're all making it. So even if Quinnipiac cannot get a hold and get it going as we head into the harder conference play, they're still going to have a chance to upset some teams and do whatever. So no matter what, they're still in the tournament. But you got to start playing. You got to start getting it done.
That's a great point, Dylan. It really is. Women's rugby trounced Norwich University 48-19 this weekend. This win is Quinnipiac's first ever win against the national powerhouse. Freshman Emily Roskoff scored 2 tries to add to her team leading 10 tries on the year. Dylan, does this mean the team is back on track?
I don't think they were ever off track per se, because you're coming into the game 2-1. You're playing a Norwich team that, yes, you've never beaten before, but you're coming in a lot of confidence because last year it was a close game when they played them on the road. Now you play them at home. Now you're playing them on the road, and you come away with a W. Now you're 3-1. I thought Roscoff was brilliant. Freshman from California, looked great. Looked like a senior out there. They lost a lot of players from last year, and they look like they can do even better than they did last year. Norwich, 3-time defending national champions, and Quinnipiac made them look like dirt.
Norwich this season hasn't been that great. They are 1-2, but it's still, we're talking about Norwich University. Like you said, 3-time defending national champions. We were talking last week, I remember Andrew DiDio, Nick Colon were on the show talking about women's rugby, and I remember them saying that they weren't really sure a freshman and like Emily Roscoff could step up and lead this team to maybe national championship, because they're just saying that's a lot to put on like a freshman's shoulders. But that's where I disagree. I think they absolutely, like, this girl's good. She is a talent.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's fun to watch. She's fast. She's not that tall, but she's strong. Good Lord. I saw her lifting one time. She could squat 3 of me. Like,
Oh, well, that's 7 of me then.
But, I mean, it comes down to Maggie Miles is still a star on this team.
Yep.
They've put up 40-plus points on their 3 wins. What? Are they off track, Dylan? Are they off track? No, they can't be off track.
Never off. They were never off. And Alona Mars bring that national champion experience to this team. I think this is the kind of year where they can actually get it done. And instead of making it to the Final Four, get to the championship game and maybe upset some teams.
This is my second question to you. What brings players to Quinnipiac?
You know, you're talking about a coach in Becky Carlson who's been doing it for a long time and has really tried to elevate women's sports, not just women's rugby, but women's sports in general. And so you read about Becky Carlson online, you're looking at the program, looking at how dominant they have been in the last couple of years. Who wouldn't want to come play for Quinnipiac? Who wouldn't?
You're absolutely right. And Alona Mar, like you were just talking about, is a Norwich University former player. She just transferred her here this year. And, I mean, we're talking about a complete physical talent in Alona Mar. She is 5'10". For a woman, that's not average. I'm 5'10". This is a Division I athlete.
Absolutely.
This girl, and she runs. Can she run? Good Lord! She's fun to watch, and she brings a different type of spark to this team, and it's maybe the spark that this team needs to elevate them to the next level.
Agreed. First win over Norwich in program history, just to note. Let's move on, Justin. Last week, the women's basketball regular season schedule was released. And it's looking like another tough one this year, Justin, for the Bobcats. Out-of-conference schedule is always tough for them. Trisha Fabry's team looking to repeat as MAC champions. Bobcats are going to open the season against Army on the road, then head to Hamden for 3 straight home games. Hartford, Holy Cross, and Temple are coming to town. Quinnipiac will also play Georgetown, Northeastern, Drexel, and Florida Gulf Coast in its out-of-conference schedule. Another tough one for the Bobcats this season. Justin, what do you think of the schedule?
I mean, Trisha Fabry, like you're saying, she got some good games for this team this year. Florida Gulf Coast University, not Academy, but they were 31-3 last year. They have a player, Maury Hirschgordon tells me, she's going in the top 10 of the WNBA draft this year. Whitney Knight, she had 142 scholarship offers.
Dominant.
Her top 3 schools, Duke, UNC, and then Florida Gulf Coast. She obviously wanted to be a star, wanted to go to her own school. She had a .412 3-point percentage. That's like Steph Curry numbers.
Yeah.
We're talking like
Splash Brothers.
Splashing. Like, that's unbelievable.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule and I'm saying you're scheduling games against very, very good women's basketball programs. You just said Florida Gulf Coast. Temple's a solid team. You're looking at Georgetown. Georgetown was 4-27 last year, but it's still a Big East team, so a chance to beat a Big East program. You're looking at Northeastern was solid. Army made it to the tournament, 23-8 last year, and QU trounced them by 15 last year to open up the season. But I'm looking at this team, and this team lost 5 starters. And so where's all the production coming from? Because now it's Maria Napolitano's team. Brittany Martin stepping in as a freshman. Adelaide Martucci was solid last year. Now she's in her final year. She's got to get it done. I'm looking at the production, and I'm saying it's a lot less than what they had last year. And believe me, last year's team was one of the best in program history.
That's for sure. I mean, you're absolutely right there.
Well, Justin, we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, Gabbi Riggi is going to hop on and talk some women's ice hockey. A new coach, a new goalie, and several freshmen will give us plenty to talk about. Stay with us.
My name is Doug Thoreau. For nearly 90 years, 3 generations of my family have been providing the highest quality repair service. Insurance companies will refer car owners to lesser quality shops to save money. At Thoreau Auto Body, we provide the highest quality repairs with a lifetime guarantee to maintain the safety and value of your car. That's the quality you deserve. Thoreau Auto Body. Our best work goes unnoticed.
Welcome to Joya Spa and Salon in Hamden. Whether you want a new look or the perfect wedding day hair, come to us for complete hair and nail care, cuts, styles, updos, extensions, and beautiful dimensional hair color, as well as manis and pedis, acrylics, gels, and shellac. Treat yourself to a facial, a peel, or microdermabrasion. Relax with a variety of massage techniques, including Swedish and hot stone massage. Joya Spa and Salon. Call today.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Women's hockey is coming off their first NCAA appearance, but they are coming into this new season with a new coach, and core players like Chelsea Layden and Cheyenne D'Arcangelo graduated. We have Gabbi Riggi here to discuss the schedule and to preview the season with us. Gabbi, how do you feel about the new look of the team?
I'm really, really excited to see what this team can do. I think they're a really, really strong group. I think the core is going to be the same. This is a team that prides itself on defense, and that defense hasn't had any turnaround with multiple players. That's the fundamentals of this team at this core is that defense, and I'm so excited to see what they can do with a couple added players. We'll talk about them later, but a couple players they added in on offense. I can't wait to see what they're able to do as well to be that dynamic.
They're coming off their first NCAA tournament appearance. They lost 5-0 to Harvard, but they still made it there. Can they take that next step, getting to the Frozen Four, getting to a national championship game this year?
Maybe not this year. They'll definitely make the tournament again. They're going to be a team that's now a contender year in and year out. They have a lot of big thorns on their side. Harvard's still going to be there. Harvard's going to be there year in and year out, and you have to watch them year in and year out. It's going to make winning the conference hard. It's going to go making it far in the playoffs hard. They're going to be a team that's still going to do well regardless. I just don't see them winning a Frozen. They could surprise and make a Frozen Four appearance, but I really think just they're going to make it to the tournament again, and just maybe if they can push it, get a good opponent, then they can go on.
We're talking about a new goalie in Sydney Rossman taking over Chelsea Layden, a new coach at Cassandra Turner. What other changes are you seeing, and how can those people adapt to now being, the guy?
Well, we talked a little about loss with Chelsea Layden. I'm very excited to see Sid Rossman. She's a very, very quick and agile goaltender. She plays a post really, really well. She's really smart in net too. She reads angles really well. There's a lot of panic a little bit from people outside with this team, putting a lot of doubt, but I think they're going to be so good this year. I'm very excited. I think, as you mentioned before too, they lost Cheyenne D'Arcangelo. They lost a lot of these key offensive players, but I think the people they're bringing in, the freshman class, Melissa Samoskevich is going to dazzle. TT Cianfrano set the bar very high last year in terms of offensive production. She's going to blow past that. She's going to be another Kelly Babstock for this team, and that's now saying something for someone who has a program record for men and women in points.
I was gonna ask you. I was really excited to ask you this question. This recruiting class, I talked to a lot of them. I'm an orientation leader. I got to meet a lot of them. They're very smart hockey players. I got to pick their brains. Not only are they really smart hockey players, but they come from really good backgrounds, like Minnesota, Ontario, Quebec, areas like that. There's a girl that went to Shattuck St. Mary.
Yeah.
That's the same school Sidney Crosby went to.
Yeah.
Is that where the production's going to come from, this new recruiting class?
Absolutely. For me, the term I want to use with the class of 2019 is the Keystone class. They're going to be the fundamental team, the fundamental players you're going to lean on for the next few years. I think the past few years we've had kind of filler classes as you've tried to balance things out, things like that. This is going to be this key team that you're going to be able to rely on. Katie McKenzie is going to be strong on defense for this team. Mackenzie Lancaster is going to be a dynamic playmaker, moves the puck so well, sees the ice really well. These are going to be the players that you're going to build around. They're not there to complement. They are now the keystone. They are the focal point for this.
I'm looking at this team, and I'm looking at them. The whole D is back, and now you're looking at a possible front line of Emma Woods, TT Cianfrano, and Melissa Samoskevich. That's got to be exciting, and you got to look at that and say, you get production from that line consistently every single game, no matter what.
Absolutely. The one thing I always commented on last year on calls with TT Sanfrano is she knows how to get around players. And even if there's the smallest margin against the boards in that defender, she knows how to get right through there. She can move around players so well. And I think now that you have other people to feed to, you know, a little bit of pressure comes off of Emma Woods now because you have that other really good playmaker on your other wing. And I think they can just have so many dynamic plays. They can all see the ice really well. As you said, they're all really, really smart hockey players. I think that's something about this team too, is that it's a Cassie Turner team for sure. Cassie is so smart with the game. You know, a smart person in general, but she can tell you anything about the game and can break down what seems like a minute play and tell you how that's the most impactful part of the game. So I think the way that she built this team to start off with, but now you really see that come to fruition with just genuinely smart people and smart players.
All right, there's no Morgan Fritz Ward this year. There's no Erica Johansson. I have to ask you, Gabby, where is the leadership coming from? Who is going to step up and be that vocal person in the locker room that we all know Morgan Fritz Ward was?
I definitely think it's going to be from the defense. I think even if it's going to be a little bit of a quieter defense, this is a team that leads a lot more by example. And I think just the defense going in and blocking in that extra shot, there's a lot of hustle in this team. So even if there's not that one person who's going to be in the locker room and say, hey, we got to bring it this next shift. Come on, ladies, like we have to bring it. If you don't have that, you're going to have someone who's going to hop over the boards and just go out and block the extra shot, go for that extra grind, you know, go for that little bit of a bump after the play. They're not going to give up after plays. So even if there's not a distinctive vocal leader like they had with Fritz Ward, there's going to be there's so much grit and hustle with this team. They're just going to go in and make that extra play and make that little thing that's going to make the difference in the game.
Sid Roosler, Kristen Tamberg, two big vocal leaders for this team. Let's shift the focus to the USCHO.com poll. Quinnipiac in 7th, 3rd in the ECAC behind Harvard and Clarkson. What's your take on the poll?
I would say conference, definitely fair. Could go for a 2. That's my argument overall is I think the national one is definitely a little on the low side, but like I said before, I think it's the outsider panic of you lost Chelsea Layden, lowest goals against in the country. You lost your head coach, and it looks like you've lost 2 of your most key pieces, but in actuality, this is a team that's still been built. It's honestly like you've taken a driver out of the car, but there's still same engine in there that's still able to run really well. So I think for USCHO, I would bump them up, a little bit higher. I would put them in at a 6 where Clarkson is now. People are still really hot on Clarkson because they surprised everybody against Minnesota here in Hamden in the national championship game. So I think people are still kind of riding high on Clarkson. That's not to dismiss them. Obviously, they're an excellent team, as is Harvard. But I think while, I might say I don't agree with where they ended up ranked, this might help them in the long run. I think for this kind of a team to go in under the radar, they're going to have a longer, a quieter out of conference to begin with. Not a lot of noise. You're playing Maine, you're playing Mercyhurst. These are teams that are going to help you hit your stride really quick. And I think, to kind of go into conference play at the end of the month, starting November, under the radar might be really good for this team.
Not only is Cassandra Turner a new coach, but now the assistants are new as well. Eddie Ardito and Amanda Mazzato. What can you tell us about them?
Amanda Mazzato has worked with Cassie Turner before, has been a part of her staff for a while. She graduated from Cornell, was a goaltender there for 4 years. She was Cassie's goaltending coach with the under-18 team for the Canadian World team, same going in this year. So they know each other really well. And Cassie's always been a defense-first coach, so she's relied on Mazzotta really heavily before, and I think this is a way for her to keep those Canadian ties. And it's a good way for Cass to be able to focus on the bigger picture with this team, with someone she can trust coaching the defense, coaching the goaltending. And in terms of Eddie Ardito, there were a few players I talked to who are also recruited by Yale, where he used to work for, and they really liked the staff that the Bulldogs had. They really liked the facilities that they had. It was other things about the team that they really weren't sold on. So I think for you to be able to pull someone out of a conference opponent and pull someone out of a system that a lot of other people you're trying to recruit liked, I think that's absolutely huge. She's also got a lot of connections in the United States in terms of recruiting, so they're strong on the Canadian front. Now they can really supplement it on the United States side.
You gotta love hearing about those pipelines. Thanks a lot, Gabby. Great insight, as always. When we return, Dylan and I will talk women's soccer, volleyball, and share our step up and sit down performances of the week. You won't want to miss it.
My name is Doug Thoreau. For nearly 90 years, 3 generations of my family have been providing the highest quality repair service. Insurance companies will refer car owners to lesser quality shops to save money. At Thoreau Auto Body, we provide the highest quality repairs with a lifetime guarantee to maintain the safety and value of your car. That's the quality you deserve. Thoreau Auto Body, our best work goes unnoticed.
We are your source for entertainment news.
Welcome to Joya Spa and Salon in Hamden. Whether you want a new look or the perfect wedding day hair, come to us for complete hair and nail care, cuts, styles, updos, extensions, and beautiful dimensional hair color, as well as manis and pedis, acrylics, gels, and shellac. Treat yourself to a facial, a peel, or microdermabrasion. Relax with a variety of massage techniques, including Swedish and hot stone massage. Joya Spa and Salon. Call today.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer
Welcome back to
Sensation.
Bobcat Breakdown. The women's soccer team went to New Jersey on Saturday to take on the St. Peter's Peacocks in the Bobcats' second MAC game of the season. Quinnipiac has had a solid season so far, Justin, and left New Jersey with 3 points, taking down St. Peter's 4-2 behind 2 goals from Jessica Jankowski. Bobcats head to UMass Lowell for their last non-conference game before playing Niagara at home on October 3rd, picked 9th out of 11 teams in the MAC. Justin, that's the preseason poll. Now we're looking at Niagara and Marist, UMass Lowell coming up. They've been playing well. They're 5-3. Can they keep it up, Justin?
I mean, I don't think there's a question about it. I mean, I think this team found a new talisman in Jess Jankowski. 2 goals in this game. Nadia Gill needs help up top. She's more of a facilitator. She's very good at giving those little through balls. She's got an excellent, excellent first touch. Everything, when she plays, the ball literally looks like it sticks to her foot. Like, it's incredible.
Right.
She's only 16 too, but that's not, I mean, we're back to Jankowski. She's putting the ball in the net. This team's 5-3. That's a good win earlier this week, scoring 4 goals. And this Dave Clark team hasn't been scoring too many goals this season. I'm looking for this team to continue on and possibly win the MAC this year.
Win.
I said possibly, but I think it's.
I don't know about that.
You know what? I'll state it right now. Women's soccer, they're winning the MAC this season.
Oh my God. I don't believe what I just heard, because they just played a Rider team and lost 2-0 to a Rider team that's predicted to be 3rd in the MAC. Okay, we're talking not 1st, not 2nd, but 3rd. They're going to play Niagara. Niagara's, I'd say, the 4th or 5th best team in the MAC for women's soccer right now. If they don't win that one, you think they can win the MAC?
I'm telling you, this is a young team.
Exactly.
And they're streaky.
We're talking 13 new players here. Nadia Gill's 16 years old. No SATs, can't drive, nothing. 16 years old, and you think they can win the MAC?
I think this team, if they get on the hot streak, they can be a little more consistent. You got Jess Fontaine tearing it up right now. Amanda Baraka, she's playing great D in the back. I think this team, if they keep going.
I'll give you Jankowski, 2 goals and an assist, 3 goals in the year so far. Killer game the other day, but St. Peter's is the worst team in the MAC.
Hey.
Now, granted, road win, but the worst team in the conference, and I have not seen enough of them to say that they can win the MAC. That's a stretch, bro.
It's a stretch, but I think it's fair to say with the talent that this team has, like, it possesses. I think this team, like, you watch the Rider game, it was 0-0 the whole first half. Am I correct?
Yeah.
The whole first half, it was 0-0. It was a very good game. It was back and forth. But Quinnipiac dominated possession in that first half. They have the talent to not only win the MAC, but, like, Well, no, just to win the MAC.
Oh, well, what was that? What was that?
I didn't want to go over. I didn't want to go over.
I will call it a successful season if they can win a game in the MAC tournament. Okay? That's it, just a game.
Okay.
They're not going to win. They're not making the championship. Semifinals is a stretch. If they can just get one win, that's a successful season for Dave Clark's squad. 13 new players. Baker's dozen. They ain't winning.
Baker's dozen.
They ain't winning. Let's move on.
Field hockey defeated the University of Vermont today, 4-3. The Bobcats are now 3-7 heading into conference play after their upcoming game against Penn State at Penn State. Dylan, what do you expect from this team for the rest of the season?
They're going to Happy Valley, but they're not going away happy. That's gonna be brutal. That is gonna be brutal. I'll give them this. They're 3-7. Out of conference schedule is absolutely brutal. We're talking they're going to Penn State. We're talking UConn 7-0, Boston College, Michigan State. The list goes on. I mean, Providence coming up later in the season. An absolutely brutal out-of-conference schedule. So we haven't seen how good they can actually be because they're playing in these national ranked teams. UConn was number 1, defending champs. Michigan State,
BC,
top 20.
13.
BC, right? So the list goes on. I want to see how they do in MAC play. And they looked good against Vermont in that 4-3 win, scoring goals left and right, looking really good on the corners. Looking really, really good. And Andrew King wasn't even a vocal point in that game. And they just blew them away. And I know your step up. I'm not going to mention her, but your step up.
Yeah, we won't mention her today.
But they looked pretty good on Sunday. They looked very good. For me, no MAC games so far. I can't even predict anything for them, but they'll definitely start turning it on, and I could definitely see them going to the championship game.
I don't want to make any predictions this early. I do think this is a very good team. Very, very good team. There's something about them. I think Coach Becca Main is making the right moves tactically. Earlier today, she moves out Lily Shimo, who's normally like a defense right back type player. She's playing right wing today. Going up the flank all day, just hitting in those crosses, and she looked very good up there. She's playing extremely talented. Another insert today Becca Main did. She put in Peyton Mickey. Hasn't really seen the field too much this season. She comes in, plays an outstanding defensive mid. Their defense looked phenomenal today.
The amount of times that Lily Shimo put the ball in between the opponent's legs, countless times, dozens. My thing with this team is going to be how can Michelle Federico lead this program? Because we've heard Becca Main say time and time again that she can be the best player in program history. Can she get it done when it counts in the MAC games? Because no one cares how you do in out of conference. Can you get it done in the MAC games? We'll see.
That's true.
Let's move on, Justin. Injuries have been the theme for the women's volleyball team this season. Star middle hitter Allison Lee has been out the past 2 weeks with an ankle injury. That's going to sideline her for a long time. Katie Yerke was seen in a boot. Jamie Palucci's recovering from surgery. The list goes on, Justin. 7 out of the 14 players are hurt. Everyone's sidelined. They can't catch a break. Chris Saplinski cannot catch a break. They've been incredibly unlucky. And at the same time, you're 1-13 and you're 0-3 in the MAC. The question to you, Justin Cloutier, can this team win a MAC game this year?
I believe they can win one MAC game this year if Jamie Paolucci returns and is able to play at the peak ability she can play at. And I think that's the only way they can do it.
I'm giving them 3 wins. They're playing St. Peter's, the worst team in the MAC this year. 10 teams. Monmouth doesn't have a team. I say they beat St. Peter's twice, and I say they can get Iona at home later in the season. I'm giving them 3 wins.
Okay. Now it's time for our step-up performance of the week. This goes out to a player that has stepped up recently for their team. I'll go first.
You got it.
My player that has stepped up is Lauren Belsky of the field hockey team. 2 goals today. She was key on penalty corners, Dylan. Key. Not only on the scoring, but different penalty corners and plays. She's done incredible. She's been playing great D. She's a defensive player, and she comes up on those penalty corners and is able to put the ball in the cage today. I mean, she had 2 goals.
I'm going Jess Jankowski. Mentioned her before. 2 goals and assists. She's got 3 on the year. You put that with Jess Fontaine and Nadia Gill. You got a winning formula. I'm Jess Jankowski. Let's go to the step-down performance of the week. This goes to a player that has not been playing that well, Justin. Needs to step it up, and we will see what you've got. But I've got James Greco men's soccer because James Greco right now is 0 goals, 0 assists, only 1 shot on goal all year. He's played 7 games, started 5. He's got to get it done. He's got to step up because last year at this time he had 3 assists. He was looking good. He was dangling everywhere. James Greco, step it up.
Dylan, I'm also going men's soccer, and I'm going goalkeeper Tristan Henry. He came out on the 2nd goal, and he coming off his line as Eric Panzer really could have probably played good D on that.
Right.
I just want Tristan to remember that you have to save the ball first. Don't forget about what they teach you when you're a keeper, but you gotta priority number one is to save the ball. Well, Dylan, that will do it for this week's episode of Bobcat Breakdown. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Q30 Sports.
And don't forget to check out our website at www.q30television.com. Justin Cloutier, everyone in the technical staff, I'm Dylan Fearon. Have an excellent night.